Son, isn't this great? Blue skies, fresh-cut grass, birds chirping.
You're gonna recite me a poem? Easy. Jeez, you love this golf stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another edition of the Ball Washer Podcast. Here is your host, Ryan Logan. And remember, always wash your balls. Golf balls, that is.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. Oh, it's a big episode. It's a big episode. You know why? It's episode number 19 of the Ball Washer Podcast. What's up, everybody? We are now on YouTube. If you're listening to this, just streaming, whether you're on Spotify, on Omni Playlist with WCSX.com, or anywhere you get your podcasts, know you can watch me now. Yeah, baby, you can watch me. The Ball Washer Podcast YouTube page is up. We got a lot of great stuff on that. This week, we had our last club fitting tutorial video from our friends over at PXG. My buddy AJ Partinio over there, PXG Detroit. We show you what the full bag looks like. Now that we've went through all the clubs, we'll show you what the full bag setup looks like on that the Ball Washer Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you go check it out. But we got a big episode today. There's a lot going on this week in the world of golf, and we're going to start in Jeddah. I believe that's how you say it, right? Anthony Kim's back. AK is back, baby. And we knew, we kind of had that feeling. I predicted it on a past episode, but I don't think it was that bold of a prediction that Anthony Kim was going to take his talents, newly discovered again talents, to the Live Tour. Now, it makes total sense, right? Everything that he does and has done in the past seems like he's a big money guy. So what does the PGA have to offer that Liv doesn't? A ton of money up front, come and play. But he's going to tee it up this weekend for the first time in, 15 years? Maybe? 10 years? It's pretty crazy when you think about it, how little time he's spent on the golf course in the past, 10 years. But it's going to be interesting to see. Now, he's going into Liv as a free agent, so he's not on a team. He's one of those outside four guys that's playing for money, playing for a spot. But it's strange because I feel like obviously the teams are kind of set, but doesn't he feel like a guy who would have been nice on Rahm's team, or a guy that you could almost give their own team to? But I'm kind of thinking this is a trial run. We don't know how much money Anthony Kim is getting. I'm guessing it's somewhere between 10 and 20 million up front to go and play. But again, we don't know how much he's getting. We haven't seen those numbers. I'm excited, though. I'm excited. I want to see what Anthony can do with a golf ball again, because you've been watching his practicing and him on the range on Instagram and stuff, and he looks great. Hold on, I want to make sure. All right, we're recording. I just had to make sure over on my other monitor that we were good and you guys were getting to see me. Yay. But anyway, back to Anthony Kim. It's very exciting to have him. I wish he'd be on the PGA Tour, but it is what it is. He's going to be on Live, and it'll have people watching this weekend for sure to see what he does. We were talking about it, me and my buddies, earlier in the week, and my buddy goes, wouldn't it be hilarious if he just went out and fired like an 88? I don't think he's. One thing I've noticed about Live Golf is they tend to play some simpler golf courses, it seems like, right? You're not getting some of the tougher courses that you see out on the PGA Tour out on Live, and I think that's part of it. I think they want to see low scoring and a bunch of birdies. So we'll see what Anthony Kim can do, but it's very, very interesting to have him back in the world of golf. It's great for the world of golf. Now, if everybody else could come together and figure this crap out, I think it would be good. I truly believe that this whole Live and PGA thing now is just completely hurting the game. It's too much division, and you're seeing Live just making strides. We talked about they've been trying to get Hideki over there as well. That's another huge name that if they pulled him, past Masters champion, another guy who's high up in the world rankings, which we'll get into that in a second because that's an absolute joke. I'll put the World Ranking Committee right alongside the NCAA for just stupidity and just arrogance and have no idea what's going on. You know what? Let's get into it right now. What the hell is going on with the World Golf Rankings? First off, you got 18 different ranking systems, all with different names up at the top. And these Live guys just continue to drop. Like, what was Joaquin Niemann? He won the last event for Live. he dropped 12 spots, I believe, in the world rankings. The guy who finished, who won a tour event, he jumped about 20 rankings. So it's not making sense. There's an imbalance, and it seems to me like it's just punishing guys for being on live. Where at this point, it's like, dude, we're over this whole punishment thing. Let these guys just play golf. We'll decide who we want to watch, but you can't punish them for going over there anymore. I think that's past it. You've made too many moves. I'm speaking to the PGA. The PGA and the USGA has made too many moves to try to bring Live and PGA Tour together to where you can't punish these guys anymore. You got to let them get world ranking points, and I don't know what the criteria is anymore. Some guys on Live, I heard Bryson DeChambeau talk about how they thought that they have covered all of the basis when it comes to guidelines for being able to get world rankings points. Now, it might be because of the 54-hole thing. The fact that they're not playing a full 72 holes. But also, what tournament ended a few weeks ago at 54 holes, and that guy jumped up a bunch in the rankings, Wyndham Clark. So you're seeing the benefits for the PGA guys, but Live guys, if it's a 54-hole event, screw you, you guys are out. It's kind of insane. I mean, it is insane. They got to figure this out, and I think at this point, you've done too much to try to unify and join these organizations, these leagues, that you got to stop punishing one and not punishing the other, right? I think they're both in the wrong in some spots. I think they're both in the right in some spots. I'm very torn. I am a PGA Tour guy, though. I'll never stop watching the PGA Tour, no matter how many guys go over to Live. It's just something about watching those PGA Tour events. Live's boring to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's... I honestly, I don't know what it is, why Live is so boring to me, but it just seems that way. Maybe because of where they're playing, they're not bringing in as many fans, or at least you're not seeing as many fans, because I'm sure most of them going are just hanging out, not watching the golf, right? Has this turned into like a bad baseball team? You make the park very cool just in case the product's not that great. I don't know. They're hanging out with the DJs and stuff like that. Maybe that's what it is. I don't feel like that fan presence is there when it comes to Live Golf. But I'll tune in, especially this weekend, to see Anthony Kim. And I'm wondering, what's he wearing? I've seen a couple of videos. I was looking at my laptop. I've seen a couple of videos where he was on the practice range and stuff, but I don't know if he's with Nike again. And does the belt buckle come back, baby? You got to bring the belt buckle back, AK. Let's go. So we'll see that they're in Jeddah this weekend. Really quick, the PGA Tour Honda Classic is going on this weekend after the Mexico Open. Very cool win, again, by a guy with PXG. Very cool win for him. I forgot his name. I should have prepared that for this. I didn't know I was going to bring him up. But a cool story of the PGA Tour winner last week, and that's what these kind of, I guess, tier 2 tournaments, you call them when the purses aren't that big. But we got the Honda Classic this weekend. Rory's the biggest name. You got a couple of guys in there, but it seems like most of the big name guys are taking off 2 weeks before next week in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. That's always a big one where guys like to go and honor Arnie. So we got those two tournaments again going head to head this weekend. But I guess the big story's got to be for Liv, right? They're kind of winning the week so far. You got the Honda Classic with Rory in the field, man. That's kind of it. But then you got the return of Anthony Kim, and just it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited to see him get back on the golf course. He was one of those guys that we all loved growing up because he was kind of that real cool dude who was just happened to be really good at golf, right? So it'll be exciting to see. Couple more things I want to touch on here. Thank you guys for the unbelievable support on the last episode, the Suck It Zach Johnson episode. I had a ton of downloads, ton of views on the YouTube and Instagram for that one. So thank you. Big thumbs up there. Once again, we are on YouTube now. So if you hear me moving around, because I'm on YouTube, baby. Oh, yeah. Ball Wash Podcast, by the way, on YouTube. New club fitting tutorial video up there. All right. We talked about this many episodes ago when the Netflix Cup came out. Last night we had the Capital One The Match. Rory and Rose Zhang versus Lexi Thompson and Max Homa. The Park. It was at the Park in Florida. Under the lights. Now, I'm going to try not to completely bash this tournament, right? I'm going to try to completely not bash it, but here's my 2 cents on it if you want to hear it. Under the lights, very cool. That would be something I would love to see Liv do. PGA Tour won't touch that, but Liv, doesn't that seem right up their alley? The first night tournament? I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer for Liv. I thought it was cool as hell. I don't know why there aren't more golf courses that are nighttime golf courses. We've talked about this on past episodes, how cool it would be to tee it up in Michigan in the summer at 9:30. Play till midnight, right? That would be cool. But these matches are boringer than hell. So damn boring. They're not allowed to have their personalities. Max Homa is one of the most personable guys on tour. His Twitter is hilarious. He's a great follow. He says some hilarious stuff, makes fun of people. But being on national TV, he was the only one really talking last night. And being on national TV, he's got to tone it down. Being a member of the he's got to tone it down. Everything's got to be toned down for TV because God forbid you talk how normal people talk. I've never gotten that. But again, I'm in radio, so I can't complain because I have to censor myself, on a day-to-day basis. But these matches are just boring. And my only solution or my only suggestion for these are let's stop making them real golfers. If we're going to start doing these Capital One matches, let's do them against celebrities or athletes who are not golfers. Then you put more of the human interest into it. You get to see somebody who might be hitting the golf ball kind of like you do on the weekends. You might see a couple of shanks here and there. You might get a little bit more, a little bit more like, okay, here's an example. You might get a little bit more like uncensored stuff, cool stuff like that. Here's an example. Who was on the broadcast last night? DJ Khaled, right? And he was just getting throttled by Ernie Johnson. They were trying to get a little goofy on set there, but he was getting throttled. Why don't you put DJ Khaled in a match with a couple other guys? I think that would be hilarious. That's the way these things need to go, I think, to become more entertaining. It's just boring. It's for professional golfers playing golf. And it's cool that they did this where they combine the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour. It's great to see that women's golf is finally getting the push it deserves because there are some fantastic female golfers. But it's boring. It has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with the PGA Tours. It's just they're PGA Tour players. They can't be that guy on the weekend course with their friends. So bring in a DJ Khaled, who's another guy who's been getting into golf. Here's one for you. Here would be a great one, right? I want to see a Capital One The Match, and you got DJ Khaled. Who's the Cat Williams, the comedian? I heard him talking recently about how he's become a big golfer. So let's put DJ Khaled, Cat Williams on a team versus comedian Ron White, who's a big golfer, and who's another guy? 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 Or another gal? Who's another guy? Here's one. Alice Cooper. Why don't you throw in Alice Cooper with there, too? But you see what I'm saying, where I'm along the lines that I'm thinking of? If you want to make this more entertaining and more watchable for the spectators and the people watching, why don't you just get celebrities and have it be a goofy little golf match? I'm sorry, but I don't really care to watch professionals in exhibition golf. I want to see them playing for big-time stakes, big-time money. And this just wasn't doing it. Now, Rory's team, Rory and Rose, they won. They had a playoff hole closest to the pin. That's another thing I want to throw in here. Liv, you really want to change this game up, right? Here's the one thing I took away from the Capital One's The Match last night. If you really want to change the game up, Liv, why don't you do that? Instead of going to playoff holes, go to a par 3, move the tees up if you want a little bit, and have a closest to the pin, best of 3 ball. So you got 3 balls, you got 3 shots at it, and whoever's the closest between those total 6 golf balls wins. Ooh, maybe even do a combined distance between those 3 golf balls. I think that would kind of change things up a little bit. And like I said, if you're Liv, that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to change the game of golf. So why not do it with something like that? I thought that was a cool part of the Capital One matches. Instead of going to extra holes, they just went, all right, we're going to the par 3. Everybody gets a shot. Closest to the pin wins the match. Rory ended up winning, I think, 1.6 for charity off of that one shot. So that was pretty cool. But again, so recapping, Capital won the match last night. Rory versus Rose Zhang. Lexi Thompson, Max Homa at the park in Florida under the lights. Very cool. Sudden death. Closest to the pin. Rory wins it. But it's just boring. Open it up to some celebrities. Get a little fire in there. Like I said, man, why can't we allow television to catch up with the times and let people speak how they speak, right? This censoring stuff is ridiculous, and I think you're seeing some of the golf products being pulled back because of it. These guys talk crap. You know, if you're a golfer, and I think you are if you're listening to the Ball Washer podcast, I would believe you know what goes on a golf course and back and forth between guys, right? I want to see some of that. But DJ Khaled with 18 sets of golf clubs on him, and we're going golfing today. You know, let's do it. Let's see what happens with it. I think that would be a funny twist if you just get some goofy celebrities to do it. But anyway, the big story for this weekend is Anthony Kim's return. I mean, it truly doesn't get bigger than that. And don't forget, guys, this is kind of a quick episode, but I wanted to really touch on those main 2 points, and I think I did. Don't forget, go to the YouTube page, subscribe, the Ball Washer podcast on YouTube. It's right there. New club fitting tutorial up there, the full bag fitting, the last episode of this series. We'll be doing plenty more stuff with my buddies over at PXG Detroit in the future and in the summer when we get out on the real golf course. But check out that, subscribe to the YouTube page, follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you're downloading these. Let's raise these numbers, man. And once again, Instagram, the Ball Washer podcast, all social media platforms, man. We got it all for you. But yeah, again, big week. Anthony Kim returning. The Capital One, the matches do something different. They're boring as hell now. I'm done with them. And the Honda Classic for the PGA Tour, I'll be watching it. But again, these non-signature events, I think that's what you did when you created the signature events. You kind of made these ones really subpar, and nobody wants to go to them anymore. Why would I go next week? I can play for $20 million. This week's you're only playing for $9 million, right? That's where the issue lies, and we'll see what the future holds with this new deal if they start pumping up some of these purses more now that they're all fully guaranteed. But a lot going on in the world of the Ball Washer podcast, man. We'll have new content up for you every week on YouTube. Next week, I got something very cool for you. It's a product. I'm going to be doing a review for it. It's called the Chip Caddy. Now, this is your home simulator for chipping and putting. It's a very, very cool thing done by somebody right here in Michigan, and it's starting to take the golf world by storm. It's a simulator that you can fit anywhere in your house, so you don't need 30-foot walls and $30,000 to do it, right? This is very affordable, very cool system. I will shoot a review for it, get it up on the Ball Washer page, and you guys will be able to check it out and see what you think. We'll even have the inventor of the Chip Caddy on the Ball Washer podcast in the future. But again, you guys, thank you so much for the support, man. This is getting to be really fun, and we're cruising, man. We're already on episode 19, and we got plenty more to go. But let's see what this weekend brings out with Anthony Kim. We'll be back with our thoughts on that next week on his showing, and so much more, man. But again, I can't stress it, you guys. Go follow the podcast. This is how we grow it. Word of mouth, and you guys talking about it. Again, YouTube, the Ball Washer podcast, Instagram, the Ball Washer podcast, and everywhere you get your podcasts audio-wise, it's right there. But let's go, baby. Let's grow this thing, and you guys have a great rest of the week or whenever you're listening to this. We'll catch you next episode.